everyone. Happy Sunday and welcome into our ESPN FC studios for a fresh edition of the show. I'm Alexis Nunes alongside Stevie Nicol, Frank Leboeuf and Julian Laurens will be joining us later on as we recap all the action from the Premier League today. But there's only one place to start, and that is La Liga, because it was all about El Clasico. Real Madrid hosting Barcelona. For a full recap, let's send it out to Kay Murray and the boys.
Thanks so much, Alexis. Well, yes, all eyes were on the Santiago Bernabeu today as Real Madrid looked to get revenge for losing all 4 Clásicos in the competitions that they faced Barcelona in last season. At the end of it, that Real Madrid have stopped that losing run against Barcelona. They lost all 4 Clásicos against them last season, and now they have set things straight, and Xabi Alonso has added his name to the win list for debut Clásico coaching feats. Real Madrid 5 points clear of Barcelona now at the top of the table after 10 rounds played. Lots to discuss in this game. Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham both on the score sheet and both doing what they needed to do for their sides today. What's the overriding feeling from you as we do welcome in Luis Garcia as well? In fact, go on, Craig.
Yeah, Luis is in place.
He's in place.
Ready.
We've got you in a minute, Luis. Give me your overriding thoughts, Craig.
He's dropped Sidlow. I think that graphic told a great story. Real Madrid did much more with less possession, were much more of a threat with less possession, and defended much better than they had in the Madrid derby and some of the games recently. Just over 30% of the ball, and I think most of that was probably the second half, where it did go towards Barcelona as Real Madrid dropped off a little bit. First half was probably a little bit more equal, but I thought they were always the bigger threat. I thought they exposed the high line, particularly in the first half. It's a couple of very close offsides. I thought they were very strong in the middle of the park. I think Militao mastered the back four really well. And Barca grew into the game. A lot of possessions, but how many big saves did Thibaut Courtois have to make? So, you know, we could debate the penalty that Mbappe missed and the Eric Garcia hand and the proximity. But I think Real Madrid were the better side. They were the better organised. They were the bigger threat. They created more chances with much less of the ball, and I think deserved the 3 points.
I have no issue in telling you that this first 45 minutes by Real Madrid were the best 45 minutes that they played under Xabi Alonso. The totality of the game on Real Madrid in the first 45 minutes was really impressive. Now, we know full well what Kylian Mbappe can do. We saw Vini Jr. very active, Jude Bellingham active as well. He's the one that assists for the goal by Kylian Mbappe. But what was most impressive, and why I say it was the best performance that we have seen from Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso in those 45 minutes, is the intensity with which they pressed the ball. They did not perhaps win the first challenge, but the second challenge, you have Tchouaméni flying and cleaning somebody out. You have Camavinga flying and cleaning somebody out. And if they miss it, then here comes Fede Valverde and does the same thing, or Militao does the same thing. And they managed to get on top of Barcelona in attacking positions. And while Barcelona may have had a lot of the ball, they were not exactly dangerous with that possession, certainly in the first half. And what we saw was the potential of what Real Madrid can do and can be when they're all together working defensively, when they're all pressing the ball, when Vini is engaged defensively, when Mbappe is engaged defensively, and then, of course, once they're able to regain possession in high areas and in good areas, that's when you can expose Barcelona defensively, and they did that for the Kylian Mbappe goal. I thought it was an impressive performance from Real Madrid, certainly in the first half. The second half, the dynamics of the game changed naturally, but the first half of Real Madrid today, again, was the best first 45 minutes that we have seen of Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso.
We've brought somebody else onto the coverage. We wanted to balance things out a bit with an ex-Barcelona player and an ex-Real Madrid player. Steve McManaman joining us now with Luis Garcia. Steve, let me start with you then. Advantage Real Madrid, worthy winners today for you?
Yes, I think so. Listening to Ali and Craig, I go along with what they said. I thought they were impressive in the first half. I thought they had a plan, didn't they, that whenever they lost the ball, they got the 11 players behind the ball. I was impressed with Vini Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. They always looked dangerous, didn't they, on the counter attack, and particularly using Kylian's pace. I thought they dropped off the level in the second half slightly, and they just used counter attacks just to make the chances. But I thought they were the better team. I didn't think it was a penalty, the Kylian Mbappe penalty. But I thought Real Madrid just edged it, and I think without Lewandowski, without Rafinha, with that little bit of magic, I think Real Madrid were probably worthy winners today.
Fair for you, Luis?
No, I totally agree. I think we all seen the same game. The first 45, I think the Real Madrid look a lot more dangerous. I think that once again, Xavi, and we've been talking about what Xavi could bring to this Real Madrid side, and that is structure. We saw a very solid Real Madrid, and not giving much to Barcelona, not leaving spaces for the players who can be dangerous on the wide areas, and even those links in between the lines that they like to do, or passes to try to arrive to the best position near the area. And again, he got it right in the middle of the park. There was a lot of concerns if Mastantuono or Dagule were going to be involved, who was the one who has to be playing near Tchouaméni. And Camavinga, I think it was really, really important today to give it that strength, that intensity, that energy that you need to play against this Barcelona side in the middle. And in the end, when you are ahead, when you play against Real Madrid and they get ahead, it's very difficult to play against, because you have to commit players forward, you leave space at the back, and then you are going to be in trouble. So Barcelona didn't have enough creativity up front. They are missing important players. We talked about them. And today it was shown that when Lewandowski is not there, when Rafinha is not there, when Lamine Yamal, that I think that didn't show up today much as we've seen it before. Barcelona struggled so much to create chances.
I want to talk to you guys about Lamine Yamal. He'd obviously made many of the headlines ahead of this game with some of his comments before it.
Well, the issue with Lamine Yamal is that if you're going to run your mouth before the game and you become the story before the game, then all the attention is going to be on you on the game and during the match, and then that demands a big-time performance in a big-time match. And we did not have a big-time performance on Lamine Yamal. And so he is this kid that the smile and the bleach blonde hair, and now he's crowning himself, and that attracts attention to himself. Well, here we are. We're paying attention. And you know who else is paying attention? Real Madrid. And some of the reactions that we saw at the end of the match, where you see Vini, who I'm not going to defend, I'm just reporting facts here, or reporting the news. He's doing one of these to Lamine Yamal and to Barcelona. You're yapping, you're talking, right? You are attracting attention to yourself if you're Lamine. You're highlighting yourself. You're bringing yourself into the middle of the conversation, and then the performance doesn't quite back it up. Then you're exposed. And this is the reality of playing professional football at the highest level. I think Lamine Yamal is an outstanding talent. I've said it 1 time, 3 times, 10 times, 20 times that he should have won the Ballon d'Or. And yet, I don't like the whole idea of I'm going to make this about my comments, I'm going to make this about my behavior, I'm going to make this about crowning myself, and then you don't back it up with a performance. The performance today of Lamine Yamal was on the fringes of the game, and Barcelona needed him to be in the middle of everything that was productive in the attack. That was not the case.
Because if the headlines were on Lamine Yamal before the game, they're going to be on Vinny Jr. after the game, Craig, with what we've seen today at the end of the game when he has got involved in the drama once again. We were just talking pre-match about the maturity and that maybe he's taking steps towards that. He didn't show the best of himself towards the end.
It's hard to stomach as a player when you don't want to be coming off in a big game. But sometimes, and it's difficult as a player, sometimes you can't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture was fresh legs. Brahim Diaz was already on, and Mbappe was still on. So when he's bringing Rodrigo on, he's not going to bring Rodrigo on for a midfielder. He's not going to weaken that department, and they're trying to see the game out. So you have to understand that as a player. He struggles to do that. That's bad enough. But you take yourself to the bench and you calm down. You do not walk down the tunnel when there is a Clasico on against your biggest rivals. Yes, he came back out, but Xabi Alonso did not look best pleased about A, his antics, and B, disappearing down the tunnel. And this is something he has to work with, to fight, is these emotions in the big moment and to see the bigger picture, which from his team's perspective and his manager's perspective was to get fresh legs on. He was already bulking the midfield up at this point. And I don't think this player will ever change from this type of behaviour, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and if we're expecting him to change, that's just not going to be the case. All I would tell you is that at some point, Vini Jr. has to understand that while he is important to the team, he doesn't win the game by himself. This is about a team performance and a team result. And at that point, his team was winning. And while you may be disappointed that you're taken off, you go and sit down and respect your teammates. Respect the performance out in the field. Respect those that are coming on the field. That is far more important than you're upset and you want to show the world that you're upset.
It's like he's helped his team today. I think it's Maka and Luis still with us. He's helped his team today, Maka, but he's not helped himself again.
No, and Kay, listen to the boys. I think we all concur. You know, four of us have played the game at the highest level. It was histrionics. There was no need for it. You're 2-1 up. As Craig rightly said, there's a bigger picture. You're getting fresh legs on. Vinny comes off. And Rodrigo goes on, who's an equal to him. Of course, Vinny's been chosen this time, but Rodrigo's a fine player in himself. So the fact that he's going to warrant a load of headlines on a night when they've won the game, you know, and the fact that you saw Xabi Alonso on the side of the pitch just completely ignore him and almost walk away from him, and rightly so, it's ridiculous. There's 16, 17 players needed at a game, and then he walks off down the tunnel, gets told to come back, sits on the bench, and then wants to argue with everybody after the end of the game. As you know, it drives me crazy. You know, it's not about you, it's about the team, it's about the collective, it's about winning, it's about going 5 points clear, it's about beating Barcelona after they beat you 4 times last year. It's Xabi Alonso's first game. That's what you should be talking about. You shouldn't be talking about the reaction of somebody getting substituted after nigh on 75 minutes. You know, it wasn't after 10 minutes. It was near the end of the game where they needed fresh legs. So it's you know, the fact that we're talking about it drives me mad. It really does. It's not about him. It's about the collective, and it should never do that again.
We must discuss Jude Bellingham. Obviously, it's been a big week for him, Craig. He had that goal against Juve. He's had this goal now in the Clasico. He's had a bit of an up and down time after he did burst onto the scene and was so impressive for Real Madrid.
But a lot of his goals in that magnificent run he went on were being in the right place at the right time. We saw that again today. But he just looked a lot stronger, he looked a lot fitter, he looked a lot sharper. And he should have had that operation. This stupid Club World Cup, he should have had that operation as soon as the season finished, and he would have been fit and fresh for the start of the season, not fit and fresh in late October. But he's looking better now. He's got 2 goals. He talked about it before the game. He mentioned it, Sid Lowe mentioned it, that goal in midweek against Juve had just given him a bit of confidence again, even though it was a tap-in. And this one will add to that. So, yeah, he looked back to, without being brilliant, he just looked back to being a bit of a powerhouse in the middle of the park.
A winning start for Xabi Alonso in his first Clasico as Real Madrid coach. All 3 points staying with Real Madrid. Let's get some of the post-match reaction from El Clasico.
Estoy muy contento por los chicos, sobre todo porque necesitaban esta sensación de poder ganar un partido grande, como es todo clásico que se juega, y la motivación era completa.
I think it's very important that we change something. That was also the reason why we changed the back 4 and back 3 and one more in the front with Ronald to change something, to create more chances. But at the end, we have to be honest, it doesn't function. Huh?
Thank you, everybody. Keep up to date with all the latest conversation from the world of football over on our YouTube channel, ESPN FC. Alexis, back to you.
Thanks so much to Kay and the boys. Well, there's plenty more La Liga coming your way. Yes, Atletico de Madrid have yet to play. They're in action tomorrow at Real Betis. You can catch our coverage 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+. Teta very happy there with his newest acquisition. Here's a look at the match stats. Both teams pretty solid defensively. Palace never really troubling David Raya, but Eberechi Eze's goal was actually Arsenal's 11th from a set piece this season, and surprise, surprise, it's the most by any team in the Premier League. Here's a look at the standings now in the Premier League. Arsenal 4 points clear at the top ahead of Bournemouth. Spurs move into 3rd. Sunderland there in 4th position. As for Manchester City, they're there in 5th and level on points with Manchester United. Don't think they had that on their bingo card. All right, let's welcome in our 2 favorite Frenchmen, shall we? Julien Laurens and Frank Leboeuf. Jules, let me start with you, why don't I? Because you are so close, of course, to the Arsenal crew. I mean, they're looking good defensively. They're still unbeaten in quite a few games. We expected Palace to be a challenge for them, but now the way things are going, it's looking like the title race could be over.
Well, I don't think there's still plenty of football to be played, Alexis. But certainly today, again, they look so strong defensively. They just don't give anything away to the opposition. There was only one shot on target for Palace. Actually, this is the only shot on target they conceded in the whole of October in the 3 games they played. They just had nothing against them, against West Ham, against Fulham, and then again today against Crystal Palace. They don't give you anything. They're the best defense, not just in the Premier League, but in Europe. Only 3 goals conceded in 9 Premier League matches. And even if you look at the three goals they conceded, one is a direct free kick for Szoboszlai, one is that counter-attack from Manchester City and Erling Haaland, and the third one is Voltemade on another set piece. So even on open play, they've only conceded 1 goal in 9 games so far this season. And that's how they built their success so far this season, on that very strong defense.
Well, Jules, there is definitely being very diplomatic, but if we have a look at the odds, Stevie, and I know you probably don't want to see this because of what happened to Liverpool yesterday, but Arsenal looking like significant favourites according to the odds to win the Premier League. How do you see it?
I don't see how you could back against Arsenal right now. You know, winning the Premier League is about consistency. You know, you can sometimes be incredibly good, sometimes you can be average, but get the job done. And this Arsenal side can do all of these things, but the one thing you cannot argue is their strength. Strength of mind, strength of character, strength of organisation, I mean, strength of the defence. I mean, they are the one side in the Premier League where every time they step on the field, there are certain things that you can guarantee that are going to happen. And you can't say that with any other side in the Premier League. So it's about being consistent, and there's no question that Arsenal absolutely are the most consistent side in the Premier League.
Frank, what did you think of the game? It's giving me the performance, the kind of performance that we saw from Arsenal today is the kind of performance that you expect the title winners and the eventual champions to grind out.
Definitely, and the word consistency is the main word to express, you know, what we see with the Gunners right now. I was very impressed, and you feel that you know, and they know exactly what to do, and you also see that they can improve. You know, we can talk about Gyökeres and how they use him. The guy asked from some balls, you know, in the space behind the goal. I saw I think in the second half, Saka not serving him very well. So they can still improve. But right now, as Jules and Stevie alluded, I don't see any other team being able to be as good as and as consistent as Arsenal right now. And so you don't see anybody, you know, being capable of winning the title right now, but Arsenal. And I was very impressed defensively. I mean, Gabriel is a monster, and you can add, of course, Saliba, even if he got injured. I don't know what happened to him, you know, going out half time. But the middle of the park is very good. I mean, Rice is the model of again consistency and hard work every game that he plays week in, week out. So there is nothing much to say about the fact that even if they didn't have a good first half, they were there. And you could see that they were better. And you knew that a set piece will make the difference again. But they struggled a little bit at the end of the game, the Gunners. But they're so solid, they're so calm, they exactly know what they do. And in goal, they have a Raya as well, very good. So they didn't have any much trouble in that game, even if you feel that they're not perfect and they can improve. So it says a lot about the power that they have and the contender they are for the title.
All right, so in the end, it's Aston Villa that get the 3 points in this one. City not short of goal attempts, but could not find the back of the net in this game. Jules, we know how much we love our Nader Manua, and a few weeks ago on this very show, I asked him, does he have any concerns that City are becoming too over-reliant on Erling Haaland and his goals? And he was like, no, why not? When the big man is scoring, you let him do his thing. But we saw it today. Once again, when he cannot find the back of the net, which is rare, they don't seem to have anything else.
Yeah, you're right. That's very true. And I think I've said it already on the show, but the second top goal scorer for Manchester City in the Premier League is own goal. They've got 2 own goals for them, and then there's 4 players with just 1 goal scored in the league this season. It's not enough. And Haaland had his chances today. I mean, the first one, the one that we showed on the highlights, again, one-on-one again with the keeper, with Emi Martinez, and it's maybe too predictable that he's going to open his left foot, and it's a good save by Martinez. Then the goal that he scored is clearly offside. But even with Pep making changes like he did in that second half. Doku coming on, Marmoush coming on, Cherki coming on top of Foden and all the other attackers that started, Oscar Bob and Savinho. There's still not enough, I felt, in creativity. Of course, they could have scored a goal. Yes, they had a lot of the ball. They had a lot of shots. But if you look at the shots that they had, apart from the one-on-one for Haaland, the rest is very low XG, not great shots. And again, I thought in terms of creativity, they lacked a little bit of spark, really. And if you don't serve the big man, then he's going to struggle to score. And as we said, if he doesn't score, then you struggle to score yourself.
Interesting to hear Jules say that Manchester City lacking that spark, lacking that creativity, which when you look at the names around Erling Haaland, you don't really think that.
Well, yeah, but you've got to look at the recruitment and all the players that they've signed in terms of going forward. Savinho doesn't look like scoring. Doku doesn't look like scoring. You've got Marmoush coming on. You've got Cherki coming on. Don't look like scoring. Don't look like creating. Phil Foden does some nice things, but doesn't look like scoring. Doesn't look like creating. So, you know, you wonder where it's coming from. Oscar Bob, we didn't see it. You know, he made a lot of changes, but nothing changed. Yes, they kept the ball. Yes, they had possession. But when you can't do anything with it, it's kind of pointless. So I wonder if Pep's got an answer, because right now the players he has don't look capable of stepping forward and doing either of those things in terms of scoring goals or making chances. So right now it's Erling Haaland or bust.
Literally a 12-game scoring streak for the big Norwegian. They're coming to an end today. Frank, but just hearing Stevie say, you know, you're wondering if Pep has an answer, and if he's looking for one, who does he look to for it at this point?
Well, it's hard to say. He has all the tools and all the elements to individuals to find the thing. But today, you cannot deny that at the end of the game, in the last 20 minutes, City tried everything to score a goal. They scored one. Marmoush was offside. But you have to give credit to the opponents. I mean, you have Martinez in goal, World Cup winner, and in the middle of the park, Camara, McKean, and with the last one, Nana. They were tremendous today. They worked so hard. On top of it, Matikash, Pau Torres, everybody at the back, and of course Martinez. They played for their lives, and they were counter all attacks from Manchester City. They worked so hard. Though it would have been another team. Maybe City would have won that game. But you have to give credit to the Villains. I mean, they worked very hard. They scored a beautiful goal from Matikash, and they never gave up. It's maybe why Manchester City didn't win. I mean, the post-conference, the press conference that Guardiola made, he said that he was very happy with the team. That he said they didn't score a goal, but he was very happy because they created a lot. And I kind of agree with him. It would have been again against another team who opened up a little bit more. I think City would have won. So try to complain or to criticize City today is pretty harsh for me, because they're not the City that we used to see. They have maybe the talent to go forward, and they didn't show that today. And it's true that Haaland didn't score that goal, which normally makes the difference, but it wasn't a bad Manchester City today.
There's one thing that might change it. The only problem is, I don't see how Pep changes his philosophy. Because the one thing that you know when you play against Man City is they'll let you get back behind the ball. They don't look forward early enough or quick enough. That is the only thing that would change this City side. Clearly, when they have to break a team down, they've shown in 9 games that they can't do it consistently. And so they have to go forward quicker. But that goes against the things that Pep's looking for. It's all about keeping the ball. It's more important if we have the ball. Well, it's not working. And unless you change it, you're going to go through the season winning games, drawing games, losing games because of it. So if you want to change, then that's the way to change it. Look forward early. You'll get more goals from Haaland, but what you'll do is you'll open up space for the others to get a goal. The biggest thing you need to do is get a goal. Somebody needs to get a goal, just to get the cobwebs away, brush the cobwebs all away. But unless they go forward earlier, you wonder if it's ever going to happen.
Well, let's bring back the Premier League table as it stands right now. Just as a reminder, Arsenal, they're 4 points clear at the top. Jules, let me come to you for this one because you're the one that reminded us that, look, we're still only in October, a lot of football left to play. We're looking at that top 4 that has Sunderland and Bournemouth. And then you're looking at the top 5. That's where you'll find Manchester City. Down in 7th is Liverpool. I'm not even going to throw Manchester United into the title race conversation, but you said that you expect people to still kind of challenge Arsenal because there's a lot of football left to play, but where's that challenge coming from?
It will still come from, from Tottenham. There's a North London derby coming up very soon. I think in 3 weeks or so, or after the international break in November. There will be bigger games. Liverpool will come to the Emirates. Arsenal will have to go to the Etihad to play Man City too. So there's still a lot of games to play. But the boys are right. They are currently the best team in the Premier League. They are one of the best teams in Europe. You don't see them giving away anything, as we mentioned earlier. And once Gyökeres is probably a bit more settled and integrated in this structure, once Odegaard comes back as well, they should be even stronger. That's true. But then you also know that Liverpool will get better. They have to. United are already improving. That City will also get better once others start scoring, not just Erling Haaland. So it's obviously not over, but you are a quarter through the season. And if you told Arsenal at the start of the season, considering the start and the fixtures they've had so far, we mentioned away at Newcastle already, away at Liverpool already, away at United already, at home to City, to have that amount of points and be that clear with that goal difference, they would have signed with their 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 legs, anything you want, really. So, of course, they are in the best position possible.
Stevie, which teams or team can you see stopping Arsenal?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You did tell me this is Arsenal's to lose.
Well, you can't rely on City. You can't rely on Liverpool. I mean, Bournemouth aren't going to stay up there. Sunderland aren't going to stay up there. You know, the team that look as consistent or as close to the consistency that Arsenal has shown is Spurs. But they're a little weak up front, in my opinion. So I can't honestly turn around and say, I expect this team to be hanging on to the coattails of Arsenal. Because right now, I feel as though it's Arsenal's to lose. That's kind of how I feel this early.
Wow. Arsenal fans living the dream. Welcome into Extra Time. Alexis Nunes here with Stevie, Frank, and Jules still hanging with us. Let's get right into these questions. Hopefully there's not many Liverpool ones because Stevie's rattled. You're rattled.
I'm annoyed.
You're annoyed? With me or Liverpool? Let's be
Both.
honest. Just let me have a moment, Stevie. It's not often I get these moments. All right, first question from Anders. Was Dani Carvajal in the right to approach Lamine Yamal post-match to confront him about talking too much about Real Madrid? Jules, what do you think?
I just think it was inevitable. Really, you knew at the end of the game this would happen. It was a very feisty game. There was a lot of tension from the beginning. It was a tight game still. And that you knew at some point, especially if Real Madrid won that game, that they would come after Lamine, whether you agree or not, whether you like it or not. And we discussed it a bit on the show before. Certainly the boys, Makan, everybody discussed it too. Whether you like it or not, for me, this was inevitable, especially after the way Real Madrid won. To see Vini, to see Carvajal go after Lamine, and Lamine responding, to be fair. And this is what we're going to have for the next 10 years or so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting to see this one because even Frankie de Jong came out after the game and said, look, both of them are teammates on the national team. Surely, especially as one of the more senior players in Dani Carvajal, you pull the young man aside and talk in private. You don't make a big show of it on the pitch, Stevie.
Unfortunately, that's the very sensible adult approach. However, when a game of football is started, then all bets are off. And as soon as that final whistle goes, there are all kinds of things going through your head. And considering what Yamal said, I have no problem with Dani Carvajal just quietly reminding him to keep his trap shut in future.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of what Lamine Yamal said.
No, it's so stupid. You know, football players don't need any more encouragement
but
to go after the opposition.
It's a big Clasico.
Don't be stupid. And I'll tell you what, his manager should sit him down and say, right, if you didn't believe me, because I'm assuming he's had to have told him about speaking out.
Yeah.
But he should sit him down on Monday morning and show him the end of the game and just point the finger and say, you're responsible for the majority of that.
Exactly.
Try and get the point over to Yamal to just keep your mouth closed, do all your talking on the field, and everything will be a lot easier.
Frank?
Yeah, no, I agree with the guys. I mean, Lamine Yamal is very young. Maybe he's inexperienced in that matter. Even if I don't think so, I think he was looking for that. But if you're a Real Madrid player, you say, well, you know what? What I feel inside me before a game like that will be 10 times bigger because I want to make sure that I'm going to shut his mouth. And I'm going to tell him after the game. And it's always been like that. With all due respect to Lamine Yamal, with all his talent, Dani Cavaral, even if he's a teammate, I'm going to tell him. And it would have been the same with Thierry Henry, with me playing for Monaco and me playing for Marseille or Strasbourg, or you're playing in Europe with Chelsea against Monaco and the young Thierry Henry opening his mouth, and I would have played with him like 15 days after with the national team, and I would have gone to him at the end of the game saying, well, Thierry, you know what? Shut up. But Thierry was smart enough to have never done that because he knew it doesn't help your team. It doesn't help your team. It doesn't help your image. I think Lamine Yamal made a mistake, and he paid for that.
Yep, indeed. Next question, shall we? Although I do love it when there's some fireworks. It's still Clasico. We need someone talking out of turn. At least for us in the media. We live for it. Next question, though. What is Liverpool's biggest challenge in the back line? What caused it, and how would the panel fix it? Stevie, let's start with you. You look perplexed.
How long we got?
Oh, as long as we need.
You can go along the four along the back and question everything they're doing. And the only thing that would make a difference is changing it. But who are they going to change it with? Joe Gomez, who's been out for forever.
Yeah.
So you get on the training field and you try and get some sort of cohesion together. And if it means you're there at 9 in the morning till 9 at night to work on certain things so that you actually become one, which they previously were, this time last year, they absolutely were one. Now they're absolutely all over the shop. So the only thing you can do when you can't change the personnel is get out and start working with them. Nothing else is going to change it. It's not. You don't get a wee magic wand just before the kick-off and you sprinkle it on everybody and all of a sudden everyone's all right. It's called hard work, and it's called getting on the training field and doing it that way. That's where you do it. That's where it comes from.
Frank?
Yeah, well, you know what? They didn't lose the talent that they had last season and the mojo that they had. It didn't vanish like that. So it's all about working week in, week out, all together, also psychologically, working together to know that everybody depends on the others. And it's what happened last season. It's what happened every time Liverpool won a title. It's because they worked hard together and they were trying to help each other, which is not the case right now. The individuals, they're not a team, they're not even a squad, and it's why they fall apart. And that's what it is in football. And it's what they have to find back. But as Stevie said, it's only working every day during training session that you could see the change in the weekend.
You know, in my time, and I think Frank's time was pretty similar, when you had a situation like that, Ronnie Moran would turn around to us and say, it's about time you lot went for a beer, innit? Because you can sort, you know, people always laughed at us when we said, how do you sort things out? And we said, we'll go for a beer. And they'd be like, yeah, oh yeah. But it actually works. Well, because what happens is everybody starts off very quiet and you have a little beer, and then when you're 2 or 3 down, people start talking, and then you start really...
Get it out.
You get everything out, and when you've got a problem with somebody, you get it out, and then what happens is it galvanizes you. So that you may still make some mistakes, but when it galvanizes you, somebody's going to be there to cover up your mistake. And because of that, you reciprocate and you do the same. So when you get a back four who are all covering each other's backside, when the mistake comes along, or a little error in possession or position and whatever it is, that's the start. That's the start. Yes, you go on the field and you train and you practice things, but you need a togetherness. You need 4 guys looking after each other's back. And once you get that, it's amazing the difference how defenders
But Stevie,
respond to it.
Stevie, they don't drink anymore. They don't smoke. They don't party. They go home and they play PlayStation. Yes, yeah, but they don't have the fighting spirit that we had. We were drunk, but we had that fighting spirit.
Well, we need to start then. There you go.
Oh, the game's gone. But you know what? Jules always has everybody's number. Jules, I don't know if you have Virgil van Dijk's number to call him up, so when he has another crisis meeting, he should probably do it in one of the many pubs in Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I agree with the boys. I also think that there's a structure to find now, right balance to find for Arne Slot. We can look at the back four, of course, and rightly so. But this Liverpool team has been too open at times, really too open. It's been basketball games, and this is not how you win games certainly not in the Premier League. So whether you sort out your midfield first as well as your back four, whether you go and sign another defensive midfielder in January, another centre-back in January, maybe, but January is in another 2 months. So you still have all of November, all of December to go through. So work with these players to find the right balance, the right structure as well.
All right, shall we go to the next question? Because it's back to El Clasico. While the result was 2-1, Madrid completely dominated Barcelona. Do you think Madrid will capitalize on this and play better from this point onwards?
Well, if there's one thing winning a big game like this does, is it pushes you forward in terms of believing. And so when you've got 11 guys stepping on the field who believe that they're the best, we're going to show we're the best, then absolutely, it just pushes you forward, no question.
Yeah, and it helped that they lost every single Clasico to Barcelona last season, Frank, but now they finally broke that streak. That must be mentally such a good thing.
Yeah, that's a ton of event for them, and psychologically it will bring so much confidence and hope for the rest of the season. And even if they are big stars and they know their football, they know that working together very hard will bring them something. Today they were, especially defensively, they were good. Well, they wasn't dominating the game like Rohit Kamat is saying, because Barca had most of the time the ball, but they were solid. They were working all together, and in a Clasico, it's always about details. And I guess they sorted out more details than Barcelona did. So it will bring something special to the merengue for sure.
Jules, you see Madrid getting better and better now?
Yeah, I think they have to. But I mean, the same way that they were not too down when they got smashed by Atletico, and if you think about it, they reacted quite well to that heavy defeat. They can't get too carried away either by this win. It was better collectively, certainly, especially in the first half from what we've seen before, where really Mbappe has been carrying this team through the season so far. So let's keep building that collective strength, but don't get carried away either, because there's still a lot of things to work on.
All right, pushing on to the next question, which I think Stevie's going to absolutely love. Percentage chance that Manchester United finish above Liverpool. You guys may have laughed off this question the other day, but surely it's a serious debate to be had now, considering how poor Liverpool is. Let me just say, I did not send this question in.
Well, if you want to be really...
You should answer, Alexi.
No. If it's one thing, I may be a Manchester United
We know the answer.
but I am realistic and I'm very pessimistic.
If you want to be really rational about this,
Yeah.
and take the red glasses or the red shirt or whatever it is you wear,
If it's one thing
and
we
just
are, it's
look
rational.
at it, Manchester United can't get much better. Liverpool are a mile off what they're capable of. So right now, you have to say that United will not finish above Liverpool.
Ooh, Frank, what do you think? Manchester United can't get much better?
I'm quite like Stevie, even if I think that what I see changing is the way that they work together. Where before they were more like individuals, you know, being playing a part from the others. The last game and the game before, I found that there was a fighting spirit that I didn't see for a while at United. So there are hopes for the fans, but I think we're still far away from the top. And like Arsenal, like I guess Liverpool's going to come back, even Tottenham getting better. Hopefully Chelsea is going to get better, hopefully. But at the end of the day, I think I'm quite surprised with what I see with Manchester United, because I didn't expect to see them being that good, I would say.
Jules?
I would love to say for you, Alexis, that United will finish above Liverpool, but I'm sorry, I have to go with the boys. I still think they are a little bit behind. They are improving. Certainly, there's a lot of things, even through data that we see and stats that we see that are better than last season or the season before. I still don't think they belong to that top of the Premier League just yet.
Listen, I wasn't saying I agreed with it,
What you do?
No, I definitely do. If Manchester United finish above Liverpool this season, I'm taking everybody out for dinner and you can order whatever you want. Nothing is off limits. Remember that, I said that here.
Okay.
Don't you worry about that.
I'm changing my mind.
You can have the dinner, I'll have the beer.
Yeah, we
You'll
won't
have the
forget.
beer. Oh, cheap date. That's fine, though. That's fine. I know Frank Jules is also a cheap date because he only drinks water, but Frank will be ordering that champagne. That much I do know.
Oh, yes, it would be champagne. It would be champagne, but I have to tell you, be careful with Stevie, because I went out with Stevie. Stevie doesn't eat. He only drinks. So be careful. The amount of beer will be really above your expectancy.
All right, maybe I shouldn't have even offered dinner. I should have just offered drinks.
Start saving now.
Okay, all right. Well, that means that you expecting United to finish ahead of Liverpool.
No, I think you just need to cover your bases.
Okay, fair. All right, I love that. Next question. How should Xabi Alonso handle Vinny Jr.'s public dissent at him being substituted? Stevie, you hated seeing this.
I absolutely think... I always hate... And I always talk against it when a manager publicly criticises one of his players. But there is always the exception, and this is the time to do it. Particularly after you win. Absolutely, he has to publicly tell everybody that this behaviour is unacceptable for a Real Madrid football player, and leave it. And make sure the message is clear. And it's obvious who we're talking about. You don't even have to name them.
Yeah.
You just come out and say, I will not be putting up with this behaviour from any of my players. This is unbecoming of a Real Madrid footballer. We're not about that. We're about class. That to me is how you handle it, and you absolutely put it in the press.
Frank?
Yeah, I agree with the public side of it, but internally, in the dressing room, I will put Vinicius Junior in front of his acts, in front of the others. And I will say, you know what? That's the first time and the last time. What you showed today, you showed selfishness, and on top of it, you say to the world that you don't understand why Rodrigo comes in because you're much stronger in your head than him. So you didn't respect your teammate, you don't respect the dressing room, you don't respect my decision, so I want you to apologize in front of your teammates. Because that's impossible, it's unforgivable what you've done to the and you showed to the world. Because yes, you have talent, yes, you're a big player, but you belong to a squad. So you respect the others. So apologize to Rodrigo, please.
Wow, name them and shame them. That's the Frank Leboeuf way. Jules, you want to chime in?
Yeah, but the only thing that I find even more disappointing is this is not the first time this season. And I would have expected already Xabi Alonso to maybe have the words with Vinicius about his behavior when he's not starting or when he's coming off before the 90th minute, before the end of the game. And yet he does it again in the biggest game of all games in the whole world. And that's why I'm really disappointed in Vinny, because I thought Vinny had gone past that, really.
Yeah.
Clearly not. Did you bench him for the next game? Is there a fine coming? Probably a bit of that as well. I think sometimes that's the way players understand.
Yeah, one thing that we've been applauding Xavi for is his man management up until this point. So I guess we will see how that pans out. Next question, probably too premature, but does Arne Slot have enough equity to last the entire season, even if the slide at Liverpool
yes.
Oh my God.
continues?
Yes.
Please, come on.
Yeah, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
We'll nip that one in the bud. Then,
This is good. Hedgesh has to be a Man United fan. Has to be.
This is Alexis' question.
Has to be.
Everton, the Toffees.
Yeah.
Jules, what about you? What do you think? Because you're the actual journalist here that has the ears on the ground. How much equity do you think he does have if this
Plenty.
Liverpool slide continues?
plenty. He's got nothing to worry about. The club is definitely behind him 100%. This is a bad patch for sure, but he's going to work things out. They're going to get much better. They're going to finish high in the league, and there's no worry for him to have about his job at all. But there's work to do for sure. And last season was a marvelous season on every level for him, and now he just has to go down to work and make it work.
Right. Hey, see, this is the thing. People forget.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that Liverpool almost never got in the top 4 to qualify for the Champions League with Klopp. I didn't hear anybody asking for Klopp to be sacked if they didn't get the top 4 or anything like that. So
But now you've tasted success. You've tasted success back to back to back.
Well, Klopp,
Yeah, but,
Klopp did the same. He won the Champions League in the league and then almost didn't qualify for the Champions League. You wouldn't have sacked him, would you?
Yeah, but Stevie, a year ago, I would say it started a year ago, maybe a little bit later, November, December, everybody agreed that Liverpool was the best team in the world and would win everything. Everything. The 4 titles. And they collapsed. I have to say they collapsed regarding to what they were capable of doing. And you have to agree with me that the Champions League, the FA Cup, the how do you say, Charity Shield, whatever, no, not Charity Shield, the other one, the League Cup. They didn't achieve anything, yeah, Carabao Cup. They dropped. For the past 4 or 5 months of the Premier League, they started to drop. So it's been more than almost a year that we don't recognize the Liverpool that we have seen. Yeah. So there is something, well, he has all the equity that he needs to stay. But I would be the board, I would say, man, okay, but you have to work hard. You have to do something because for a while, we are not recognizing what Klopp was doing at the end and what you did for the first 5 months. So that has to be back.
You agreed with him there.
Well, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, the Champions League exit was sort of the start of the slide. You lose the FA Cup because you play your resis. Carabao's a bit the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess if you really look at it, the worry would be that as bad as the start's been, it actually did start. I wouldn't go far as back as say 5 months towards the end of the season, but the last what, 9 weeks weren't good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the real concern.
Jules, you had a final thing to say on this?
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree with the boys. And again, it'd be very interesting to see, what happens. He was bold, I think, and brave enough to drop Mo Salah, for example, in the Champions League game, the 2 Champions League games, and put him on the bench. Let's see what happens. For example, now they play in the League Cup, and then they will have the league, and then the Champions League again next week. So there's 4 games to come in the space of just 2 weeks or so. So there's a lot of football to be played. Not much time to work on the training ground, but he needs something now.
All right, final question now. This one, sorry, Jules, but it's for Stevie and Frank. You'll understand why. If someone recognizes you from your playing days, are they more likely to mention a great play that you made or a mistake?
Well, it depends where you go.
Liverpool, a great play.
If I go to Liverpool, then yes, great play. Anytime I ever go to Scotland, the first thing anybody ever says to me is, "Oh, remember you missed that chance against." I'm like, "Oh, cheers, thanks." So it does. It depends where you go. Scotland, pelters.
Yeah.
Liverpool, pats on the back.
Pats on the back, indeed. Frank, what about you? Let me guess. For France, it was definitely all the great plays, but for Chelsea, mistakes?
Oh, no. For France, I did horrible mistakes with Marseille against Paris Saint-Germain. And once a month, somebody sent me a video with me giving a fantastic assist to Ronaldinho, scoring a goal at home at the Velodrome against us. It's part of it. People, they tease. I live in Paris and I was the captain of Marseille. So once in a while, I have somebody, reminding me one of the mistakes that I made. But I remember going to Newcastle as well, and I tried to put the ball with my head to my goalkeeper, and I think Alan Shearer got it and scored. So sometimes, you go there and say, "Oh, thank you for the assist, Frankie." And I say, "Well, Don't mention it, but you know, that's details. That details. We have to look at the big picture. But we make mistakes. We're only humans.
Jules, when you recognize Frank, do you remind him of his mistakes for France or any great plays?
Never.
He's your legend.
He's my friend. I know exactly. I remind him of the World Cup final.
Oh, look
yeah,
at that.
He's my brother.
Frenchies unite. Frenchies unite. I only remind Stevie of his great plays for Liverpool, even though I wasn't born when they were going on. But I do have black and white video.
It was a real lack of sincerity there.
I was trying to tee up something.
I mean, of all the weekends to be 2 days in a row with you. I mean, how unlucky is that?
Just let me have 2 happy days. I've not had 2 happy days in a row.
No, you've had 2 happy days. I've not.
Well, that's true. But you know what? Everything in seasons, everything in seasons. All right, that's it for Extra Time. Thanks, guys, and thanks to everyone for sending in your questions. The good news is we will be back on ESPN FC tomorrow to look back at all the action on the weekend, plus the La Liga game on ESPN, plus Real Betis, Atletico de Madrid. Join us.